Hey, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. We are excited to be here today on this historic day in beautiful Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, which, if you have not already heard, is the #1 city in America to live in, according to U.S. News and World Report. Congratulations, parents. Give them a round of applause. And the President of the United States recently designated Fort Bliss as the #1 U.S. Army installation in the world. Thanks to our great garrison team. Let's give them a round of applause. For those two reasons and many, many more, there is no better place to run this incredible pilot program and show what the future of military lodging and quality of life is going to look like. Before I begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge some of the incredible partners and leaders who joined us today. Mayor Johnson and El Paso County Commissioner Jackie Butler, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the city's unwavering support for Fort Bliss. We say all the time that El Paso is Fort Bliss and Fort Bliss is El Paso, and that is absolutely true today. To Emily and Mr. David Flores, thank you for representing the office of Congresswoman Veronica Escobar today, and we appreciate her continued investment in this community. To our Army Reserve Ambassador, Lynn Flair, and our community partners from Visit El Paso, CASA Emeritus, the Fort Bliss Good Neighbor Program, and the Association of the United States Army, thank you so much for your continued partnership and getting up at 8 in the morning and being at this great ceremony. I also want to specifically thank our great garrison commander, Colonel Mike Soika, and all the members of the garrison team who are here today. They truly do make it better at Bliss. They do so in the way that they invest in our families in so many ways, this just being a great example of that. And finally, I want to extend a special welcome to Mr. Jason Ballard and Mr. Will Hurd, the president of Icon Prime, and the outstanding professionalism of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for being here. Please let's give them a round of applause. So in 5+ years as a senior mission commander, I've done a lot of these ribbon cuttings. I've never done one this fast. Just 4 months ago, we stood on this very ground for a groundbreaking ceremony. This was an open dirt field, for those of you that remember that. During that event, we talked about a mandate from the Secretary of the Army to break free from legacy processes and to embrace speed over bureaucracy. We were facing an acute problem. The critical deployment of soldiers to protect our southern border had created a severe shortage of transient barrack space here at Fort Bliss. Because of that, hundreds of our soldiers were being housed in substandard temporary facilities out in the desert, more than 20 miles away from here. After enduring an exhausting 12-hour patrol in the blistering El Paso heat along the border, often exceeding 110 degrees, wearing their body armor, those soldiers were faced with an hour-long drive just to get back to an isolated camp out in our training area. We knew we had to do better. We knew we had to think differently. If we had used the Army's traditional military construction process, the buildings you see behind me would have taken at least 2 years to plan, fund, design, and construct. And for anybody that understands that process, 2 years is an optimistic estimate. Instead, I want you to take a look and consider what we have accomplished together. Behind me stands the Joint Task Force Southern Border Campus. And in fact, we stand in the middle of it. The Secretary of the Army recently designated that the headquarters for JTF Southern Border would be right here at Fort Bliss, and the building just across the street will serve that headquarters. So we are in the middle of the JTF Southern Border Campus. 10 state-of-the-art open bay barracks. Together they offer over 78,000 square feet of covered area that houses up to 560 service members. These facilities were fully 3D printed in just 58 days and delivered in less than 4 months. I want to say that again. They were fully printed in 58 days. And because of the great work of the Army Corps of Engineers and the Icon Corporation, we saw near continuous movement of those printers over that 58-day period as they moved at a speed that I've never seen in military construction. And that allowed us to deliver this project in under 4 months. This is the largest deployment of robotic construction capabilities in the history of the Department of War. By leveraging this emerging technology, we built these barracks 4 times faster than the typical construction model and 9% cheaper than our initial estimates, saving the American taxpayer over $5.6 million just in overhead. But this project is much more than impressive statistics, 3D printing, or cost savings. It's about combat readiness, and most importantly, about taking care of our people. In a few short weeks, when the next rotational unit finishes a demanding shift on the border, they aren't going to drive an hour out into the desert. They're going to return right here to permanent, energy-resilient, world-class housing. It will be just a few steps away from our gyms, our dining facilities, and our recreation areas. This facility sends a clear and undeniable message to every soldier who walks through its doors. We value you, we value your mission, and we value your sacrifice. This project proves what becomes possible when we stop accepting the status quo. It's a testament to the incredible synergy between the Defense Innovation Unit, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the trailblazing technology developed by the Icon Corporation. Together, you haven't just built barracks, but you have fundamentally changed the way the Army builds readiness. To everyone who had a hand in making this vision a reality, thank you. You've improved the quality of life for thousands of soldiers who will pass through Fort Bliss for years to come. It's time to get our soldiers moved in. Iron Soldiers, let's get a rhythm.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the Icon Prime President, Mr. Will Hurd.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The first of 10 buildings is ready for soldiers to move in today. Not 6 months from now, not after another contract review, today. This is what this ceremony is actually about. Now, I want to acknowledge some people that made this possible. Major General Taylor, you're the man. Let's give him a round. Come on, guys. The man, the myth, the legend, Colonel Soika, where are you? The next person is probably the nicest guy I've ever met. Colonel Kroger, I know you're here. Where are you? One special to my heart, Mike Sutton and the entire team. Mike, is Mike here? First Armored Division, the Army Corps of Engineers, Fort Bliss Garrison, thank you all for being true partners and for championing this project. During my time in the CIA and when I was in Congress, I would often ask, why does it take so long to build things for the people that protect us? The answer for a really long time was that there was no other way to do it better. That's changed. 58 days, as General Taylor said. That is how long it took to print the walls of all 10 of these barracks. 10 structures, 58 days, the same quantity of buildings built conventionally would have taken years, not months, years. The entire project, from contract award to delivery, be done in less than 9 months. I want to be direct about why that speed matters for an installation like this and for our Army. Fort Bliss is not just a post. It is America's premier power projection platform. I know this because I used to represent Fort Bliss in Congress. The readiness of the soldiers who train and rotate through here has direct consequences on all of us and on what the country can do in the world. But the facilities that house our soldiers are aging, overcrowded, or years away from replacement. That is a readiness problem. Not a construction problem, a readiness problem. What you see behind me, this is a readiness solution. The numbers still part of the story. 10 buildings, more than 78,000 square feet of covered area, 560 beds, 9% below the Army Corps benchmark on cost per square foot, 4 times faster in build time. Colonel Soka said 25% of the time. I think I like that. At least $5.2 million in savings to the American taxpayer. But I want to talk about what the numbers don't fully capture. 2 years ago, the Army took a chance. 2 prototype barracks at Fort Bliss built this technology as a proof of concept. The Army looked at those buildings, evaluated it against the UFC standard, and made a decision. We're going to scale this. We're going to go from 2 to 10. That decision, made by the Army, championed by this installation, is the reason 560 soldiers will have a better place to live. That is a leadership story as much as it is a technology story. The Army has always been at the forefront of adopting transformational technology. The history of American military capability is full of moments when leaders looked at a new way of doing something and chose to lean in rather than wait. Today belongs in that history. When a soldier finishes a long day at Fort Bliss, when the training is done and their gear is stowed, they deserve a room that tells them something. They deserve not just a place to sleep, they deserve a place that says, we built this for you. You mattered enough to do this right. This used to be part of the delivery. That changes today. It changes because the Army decided it should change. It changes because the people at USA's Fort Worth and the leadership at this installation held this project to the standard these soldiers deserve. And it changes because the technology exists now that makes building at this speed, at this quality, at this cost, a repeatable capability, not a one-time demonstration. 2 barracks, 78,000 square feet, 9% cheaper, 4 times faster, 560 soldiers won't face no regulars. That's what ICON and the Army built together. Congratulations to everyone who made this happen.
Okay, so let's start with your first and last name, rank and title.
Yeah, my name is Curtis D. Taylor. I'm the Commanding General of the 1st Armored Division, Fort Bliss, and Joint Task Force Southern Border. Yeah, we are super excited for this project today. Our top priority is getting quality of life to the soldiers who are executing the President's #1 priority, which is the defense of the southern border of the United States. And so this is an incredible opportunity to provide them quality of life where before they had to stay in a remote isolated camp out in our training area. They can now, 560 soldiers can stay right here on the installation while they man and equip the border just south of us here. And so this is an exciting opportunity as we open up and cut the ribbon for the JTF Southern Border Campus, which will be an enduring capability on Fort Bliss for the soldiers who man our southern border. The most exciting thing about this is how quickly we have achieved this task. In just 4 months, we went from a groundbreaking ceremony to a ribbon cutting ceremony for a total of 10 buildings that have been built. And we have soldiers moving into 2 of those buildings as we speak. That's an incredible timeline. We were able to do it 4 times faster than the normal program and 9% cheaper. And this is a testament to the innovative work that the Army Corps of Engineers has been pursuing and the work of the ICON Corporation partnered with us in this project. The savings have been significant. Just when you reduce time, you save overhead. So we've saved $5.6 million just from the reduced overhead by accomplishing this project so much faster. The other thing is you deliver much quicker for the soldier. And so we've seen a total of 9% savings, but much more importantly, 4 times faster. And so we look forward to, as we continue to use 3D printing to meet our needs for soldiers across the Army, we look forward to being able to deliver much more quickly where we've got urgent needs for housing for our soldiers. That we value you, we value your mission, and this is a testament to that investment. We believe that soldiers ought to have a high quality of life when they do a hard mission out on the border. As I said during my speech, many of them will spend a 12-hour shift out on the border. They're wearing their body armor and their helmet the whole time. They've got to be constantly vigilant to threats along our southern border. And we want them to be able to come home and relax in a comfortable, air-conditioned, and a new facility before they go out for their next mission. So this is a message that we value them, and most importantly, that we value the mission that the President has given. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We see, because of the speed that we can construct out here, we see a great opportunity for not just construction, but reconstruction as well. And there's a great opportunity. I mean, the business model could go anywhere. Right now, our primary use case is for transient barracks for soldiers, and we have a huge need for that. We've already lined up a couple other projects for ICON to continue with, but the need for transient living accommodations is something that both the Army needs, the Joint Service, and the disaster relief community. We operate the same fair and open contract competition process that the Army has always used, using the federal acquisition regulations. So we continue to use the same process, but it is a highly competitive process, and that's the way we want it. And that's ensures the best value for the American taxpayer. Well, so far the Army's been leading the way, and Fort Bliss has been leading the Army because we had the need. And we've got the great partners here with the Army Corps of Engineers here in Fort Worth, Texas. And so we had a unique opportunity with this plot of land and with an urgent need for transient barracks to fund and begin this project very rapidly. We had already done a pilot here with 2 other buildings that you might have seen during the groundbreaking ceremony. And so we were able to extend that pilot and expand upon it here. And so Fort Bliss was the right location for that. That doesn't mean Fort Bliss is the only location. There are a number of other needs across the Army that will continue to expand to, and I'm sure the Joint Services will take a look at this. I want to thank you for being here. Again, this is what happens when we break the old ways of doing things and we leverage technology and we leverage new partners and new capability to make a fundamental change to the way we do business, to provide better value for the American taxpayer, to reduce costs, and most importantly, to get our soldiers who are doing a tough and dangerous mission on our southern border the quality of life that they all deserve. Thank you for being here.
When I was in Congress, I was on the Appropriations Committee that funded the military and housing specifically. And we've been dealing with this housing crisis in the military for so long. Aging barracks, mold in places, it's unacceptable. It was really truly a military readiness problem. And what's one of the great things that ICON is dealing with. We have learned to reduce costs, reduce time in order to build structures. We've done over 255 structures. These 10 barracks that are here in El Paso are kind of our key project, because we did it in 4 times faster than this project would have taken normally. Normally it would have taken 2 years, and we did it 9% cheaper. And so this really is important for the military. It's going to help improve the military readiness issue and make sure the men and women that are willing to put themselves in harm's way have the right kind of place to come back to rest. We're very proud of this. And when you talk about an affordability issue, not just military construction, but around the rest of the world, this is a solution. ICON is about having robots, advanced materials, and AI-enabled software in order to solve this problem. And when you do things faster, sometimes people think you have to pay a premium to do things faster. No, you actually save money by doing it faster, and we've unlocked that here at Fort Bliss and El Paso. Look, where you lay your head is important. It's a place where you spend most of your time. That's how you charge in order to take on the day. And we're asking many of these men and women to be away from their families, to be in difficult environments, to have long, grueling days. And guess what? When that day is over, they should be able to have a place that they can recharge. They should be able to have a place that feels like home. And that's what we did here with this barracks project here at Fort Bliss. So we're not only excited that we did this and built these 10 barracks in a quarter of the time and 9% cheaper, but we're excited that we're building a better quality for our men and women that are serving our country.
Navy or Air Force maybe?
Yes, this is not, so let me be clear. The Army has shown a level of innovation to do things differently. The contracting vehicles they're using, the way you do design is different. So the Army has shown a real innovation in getting a project like this across the finish line. And yes, it's going to be exported to the Marines, to the Navy, to all of our services. We are already engaged with all the services on this. My goal is to build 900 of these kinds of structures, all over the country. We have the bandwidth to do it. But look, this story is, yes, the technology exists to do this, but it's also a story about the leadership the Army has shown in doing things differently. And we've been building buildings the same way since the Middle Ages, right? And now the Army was the one that's willing to step up and do this first and do it in a big way. And I think they're going to be the example for the rest of our armed services. The buildings are, I think all of our paperwork says 50 years, but these things are going to last for a really long time. They're more resilient to wind and rain than traditional construction. Termites don't eat concrete. Mold doesn't grow on concrete. So this story is more than just about faster and cheaper. It's actually a structure that's more resilient. And when you look at the ratings of these walls, to get something in traditional construction, it's going to be a significant higher cost and higher premium. So not only are you getting a better quality, cheaper and faster, and that's something that we're very excited about. I hope so. You're going to have to ask Major General Taylor and the mayor those questions. We're ready to do more. I'm hoping the great city of El Paso sees a lot more of our robots on the horizon and in their areas and neighborhoods. That's my goal, and I'm pretty confident we're going to have some more progress.
So this was a dream about a year ago. I stood on this piece of ground. We were trying to figure out where we put the soldiers that were coming down from Joint Task Force Southern Border, and I really didn't like the conditions that they had to go into. We had temporary buildings, and we kind of talked it over. We said, we had the pilot program that was here in 2024. Maybe we can do this. And today is the culmination of that work. To see these barracks on a piece of flat ground 147 days ago is unbelievable. It is a game changer from a garrison perspective. I always want to provide the best facilities for our soldiers and for our families. A lot of times I can't because of the cost and the time that it takes to do it. This changes the entire game. This gives me a two-quarter toolbox to be able to support our families and our soldiers that I didn't have before. And so I think today is an amazing day just to have these out here to let people see it. I think it's the start of something. It's the start of something really awesome to use additive manufacturing to make better homes, better, clean, comfortably safe barracks for our soldiers. I want to thank the whole team that put this together. This was a huge effort for the last 6 months to get this across the line. Everything from the creative ways of doing contracting to increase that pace, to the manufacturing that's here, to all of the tradespeople from all over El Paso that came out here to help. Because yes, we printed these walls with additive manufacturing, but there were subcontractors and tradespeople from all over El Paso that came here to do the plumbing, the electrical, the sewage, everything, and we couldn't have done it without them. So it's just another opportunity to show that Fort Bliss and El Paso are tied together. This was an incredible engine for El Paso. We invested a lot of money into El Paso to do this, and they invested back in us, giving us quality homes for our soldiers.
So tell us about the living quarters itself, the design, and
certainly. So the design is it's meant for deploying or deployed soldiers, and that design is an open bay construction. But what we did is learn from the previous ones. So we had the older models over here, and we've had soldiers rotating through them every 2 weeks for the last 2 years. And we learned some things. We had bunk beds in there, and not every bunk bed had a power outlet. The guy on the top bunk had a really long power cable. They don't have it. We deployed soldiers here. They have gear that's dirty. We added a place where they can, in the shower area, they can hang up their gear and they can wash all their gear. But more importantly, the conditions that they would have been in if we weren't here are 1950s built barracks, 26 miles out in the desert. It's not a hill. And so they have a building they come back to that's air conditioned. It has a better R value than your home does by a long shot because of the construction. And it has great shower facilities. It has more laundry facilities. Soldiers, when you're out doing something on the border, you get dirty. And now we have enough laundry facilities inside of these barracks that they don't have to go anywhere else. So our goal is to clean, safe, comfortable living space for all the soldiers that come down here to support our nation.